Welcome to Vox Scream, a Kill Team podcast where we aim to help players of all skill levels supercharge their game and separate the signal from the noise. I'm Mark Meyer, joined by Kill Team heavyweights George Pratt and Joe Gallo. We're coming to you from the Triangle region in North Carolina. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show.
They clocked it at 107 at Fayetteville, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, I looked earlier. It was like 98 yesterday. Felt like 107. It's just disgusting, dude. It is a scorcher here on the Vox Scream podcast. And to accompany this insane summer heat, we've got a scorching hot guest. Amongst other illustrious accolades, we have the TO for the Nova Grand Tournament Kill Team event, Matt Hoell. Matt, thanks for joining us, man.
Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, obviously, lots of stuff that we want to go over in terms of Nova, because I know that, you know, definitely questions floating around, maybe some changes this year, but obviously it's just one of my favorite staple events of the year. And I mean, it's just always been such a fun time. Everybody's always asking about, like, you know, if you're going to travel to anything, like, that's definitely top of the list for me.
Yeah, as I can say without a shadow of a doubt, that is the tournament that the entire East Coast year revolves around.
Thank you. I appreciate that, hearing that.
And all three of us have been going for the last, 4, going on maybe 5 years since we both started, all three of us started playing Kill Team seriously.
Yeah, something about.
You and George have been multiple times. I think this is going to be my third Nova this year. So hopefully, you know, I've done a little bit better each year, Obviously, I just want to beat George, who, I mean, George, you were what, top 16 last year?
I think I came in at 11th. Yeah, I was in group 2. I think I ended in 11th, something like that.
You were showing people how to get it done with Rekkas before they got buff.
That was pre-buff, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we both took Rekkas that year, and one of us was much better.
There was a reason I thought the Rekkas buff might have been too much. I was right. Barely.
Yeah, and you ended up being right, because they ended up hitting the dice retaining. So yeah, you ended up being right.
Well, I got plenty of questions here about Nova, and obviously, you know, this is just a reminder that we've done plenty of coverage in terms of our own preparations and stuff for Nova. But I got to ask Matt, just in terms of preparations involved in, you know, running what is, as George said, if not the biggest, one of the biggest tournaments on the East Coast.
Yeah, so I am a long-time Nova attendee. I think all the way back to the first official Nova, way back in the day when we were just in the Dulles Expo Center. I was playing 40K back then, and then I kept playing, and I was playing a lot of 40K, doing pretty well, and then I had my kids, and so a weekend getaway wasn't in the cards anymore. But then first edition Kill Team came out, and I loved it. I loved the small skirmish. And so I was able to swing a Nova trip for that. And I think that was the first big tournament for first edition Kill Team. And I just loved the game. I think it was great. I haven't played serious 40K since first edition Kill Team came out.
Oh, wow.
And then I just started pretty much going every year almost. And then Ben Cash, who was the TO for it, he got a promotion within Nova to kind of, you know, go higher up in the organization, and he tapped me to run it, and I've been running it since then. The funniest thing was the first year I was quote unquote running it. What was it, 22, I think, and I got COVID 3 days before the event, and I had to scramble. Fortunately, Chris Bakke was gracious enough to pick up the reins, and he was able to run it. Even with my craziness, because that was before we even had before GW was giving us terrain. So I had the kooky idea of player placed terrain for that, which definitely had mixed feelings from the players community. But Chris did a great job picking that up and dealing with the mess I made.
Definitely one of those the show must go on type of situations, right? Yeah. I mean, but
I was so mad. It was days, and I'm watching all my family members one by one watching the dominoes fall, and I'm like, come on, come on, immune system, hold out, drinking orange juice, whatever I could do. And then literally it was like, I think it was like the day, actually it was like the day before when it was like tested positive, fever, everything. And I was sick as hell too. Like it wasn't even like a mild case of COVID. It was bad.
Oof.
Yeah, man, oh man. My first or my second time, might even be my first. I also got COVID the first time I think in 23 when I came back. So it seems like that's the inaugural thing with Kill Team is getting some version of COVID or con crud.
Yeah, but I mean, all that is to say is that it's totally sick there every year, whether or not you're going to catch COVID. I mean, like when I think about Nova, I think some of the things that stand out are just the sheer scale. I mean, like last year it was close to 100 players.
Yeah.
And then the other thing too is it's just they're like everything's just really well organized. You're always able to find like exactly where you need to go. I also really like a lot of people have talked. I've heard mixed feelings from some people about like being in the big hall with 40K, but I think it's awesome. Like I really like just kind of like the mood lighting that's going on in there. I like that you're able to just see, you know, again, if we're talking about scale, just like hundreds and hundreds of people playing 40K over there too.
Well, I don't want to dampen your enthusiasm, but we are not going to be in the big room this year.
Ooh.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, we've grown so much, and because the team tournament is going 2 days, we actually have our own room, but the narrative is still going to be in the big room. So if you're going to do the narrative event, you'll still be in there.
Awesome.
Man, let me tell you, I'm so excited for the team tournament when you guys announce it's a golden ticket. Man, that is gonna turn up the knob on that. I mean, it was usually just a bit of casual fun.
Yeah.
Or for people practicing. And some people took it more seriously than others. But now, I mean, it's going to be a Shark Tank for those 2 days. Let me tell you.
Yeah. And, you know, it was for, you know, not last year, but the year before when, you know, I started doing it, it was just a smaller thing. It was just there to do some fun. But last year, so many people showed up.
Yep.
I mean, it was a great turnout. Then I'm like, you know what? If this is going to grow anymore, it's got to go to 2 days. And once I went to 2 days, I was like, well, I gotta work GW to see if I can get some tickets. And so there was a lot of behind the scenes talking to people and trying to work things out. And I'm really super happy that we were able to get those 3 tickets.
Yeah, I mean, good on you, man. It's a testament to your hard work, truly.
Yeah, and that team tournament was always so much fun. We were Team Voxcream last year. That was a ton of fun.
It was.
It was.
I think we should go ahead and just get it all out there because, I mean, that's obviously one of the biggest changes this year. So 2-day golden ticket event team tournament. Could we just get like the full lowdown on the details of that? Like, what is that going to look like? How many rounds is it? Is it going to break off into brackets or anything?
So it's 5 rounds, pure Swiss, no brackets for it. We're going to do 2 rounds on Thursday, 3 rounds on Friday. This way it gives everyone a chance to get into town. Like I know you guys are probably so you don't necessarily have to, get a night, a hotel for Wednesday. But yeah, 3 teams will have the maps all set up. It's going to be the exact same terrain we're using for the GT. GW is always gracious enough to provide us terrain, which if they didn't, I don't know how I'd make Nova happen.
Yeah, right.
I can tell you, it's really hard.
Yeah,
GW doesn't provide shit for Cherokee. Yeah. It's really hard.
It would be a lot of phone calls to people. It was funny is the first year that we were in the new hall, we had a snafu and we didn't get we got the wrong Into the Dark terrain. So fortunately the Plasma Spam guys had all of the ITD stuff left over from Kill Team Open. But it was all spread out amongst them. So I'm making phone calls, trying to get all the people. And they really helped out and made it happen. But so anyway, so we're going to be Tomb World and Volcus for both of the main events.
Does that mean no Gallowdark? Or is it going to be like, oh, right on. So definitely leaning into the flavor of like the current and like what is in vogue for Kill Team. That's going to be a lot of fun.
It's GW. They want everyone playing with their current sets, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Which is perfectly fine,
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and you can't say no to free terrain. Right. So trust me, I wouldn't.
I mean, on that note, I'm curious just because like I haven't run an event of that scale. And like, if you're talking about a 100-player event, that's 50 boards to set up. So like, what does that look like for you? Just like getting access to all of that terrain from GW? Like I've seen like the pallets and pallets of terrain that they have. Like, are you able to get like a small army to help you put it together?
I would not a small army. Usually I'm fortunate. We got a fantastic community, and well, I'll come in Wednesday night. Is usually when I can get in. I'll usually like finish work and go straight up because it's only about an hour from where I live. You know, in previous years, GW was having the preview event on Wednesday, so I'd be in the room in the back building boards while they were doing the preview event. But previous years it was easier because we were doing the narrative and the team tournament, so I didn't have to do all. You know, we're up to 126
Didn't have
players
to do
possible.
all of them at
So I
the
didn't have to
same
do them all
time
right. I
at
didn't
once.
have to do all at the same time. I could do whatever we needed for day one. Actually, no, it was even better. I'm sorry. So day one was usually a small little fun tournament that I would do and the narrative. And then day two was the team tournament. And then 3 and 4 was the GT. So I'd have time to do it. But this year, no, I got to crank it all out. But usually there are people floating around. Some of my fellow TOs are there and, or even some players, and people are really great about helping build terrain. And usually, yeah, we crank it all out. We're going to have to crank it all out Wednesday night pretty much.
God bless you, man.
I wanna do a little TO gripe because we've got Matt on. I always have people help set up terrain in my tournaments, even local ones for Cherokee, you know. And somehow, even though people have been playing for literally years on the same boards, somehow they fuck up like a quarter of the boards anyway. I don't understand how this happens.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I've done it too. I'll like, I'll forget a door. It's mostly on the close quarter stuff. Either it's ITD or Tomb World. Like,
yeah, that messes up a lot.
this is
like-
easy. It's really hard not to really screw that up. But the other ones, yeah, I do it sometimes, especially when you're looking at like multiple maps or something. But what I usually do is I print them all out. And then I always tell people, check your boards. Because even the open ones, like things get bumped. People move stuff. Like just go through real quick, make sure everything looks right. But yeah, I'm definitely guilty of occasionally messing up an ITD board or Tomb World board.
Yeah, it's really easy to mess up those ITD and Tomb Worlds, especially if you don't like marker the bottom of them.
Yeah, and I mean it's like one of those things that you don't even notice until you're playing, right? Because it's like A1 is supposed to be here, but the difference of it being one way or the other is certainly monumental.
I've had a couple of open boards that just had objectives in the wrong place. That's always fun.
Always spot check your boards. You gotta make sure. If you're gonna be playing this game competitively, just make sure you check your boards, because I've had more than a few times where things have been in the wrong place, ends up affecting the game, and then you go, well, we can't change it now. So,
and you have a couple missions where like things get picked, where objectives get picked up. So like you get picked up, and then if the players are rushing to their next round or whatever, they're just gonna kind of throw them down where they are.
For sure. I mean, I think that's one of the, like, it's so nice that you have the printouts there too, because I think maps being so like critical to like what people are doing for tournament prep. They're obviously like thinking through, like pre-thinking through deployment on different maps and different map types and stuff like that. So obviously just being able to make those adjustments to get things back in their proper place quickly and easily like that. I mean, not only helpful for players just in terms of like playing the right way, but also just keeping things running, because I mean, 2-hour rounds is hard. And it's hard to keep the trains running on time for everybody.
Yeah. And it's like you said, when I had people helping too, it's nice just to be like, here, this board is this map, this board is this map, and people can just crank them out.
Yeah, for sure. It's way easier to, like, making it easy on people to help you is just, it makes it so much easier to get help, as opposed to being like, yeah, just roll a dice and, whatever feels good to you.
But I really, I want to ask one question, because I think this might end up being relevant. Because we're getting close to like new approved ops potentially before or after Nova. We'll see. I think hopefully it'll happen after, for your sanity, Matt. Just because having to make those rulings on the spot would be really unfortunate. But in regards to the actual like map packs, are you using a combination of 24 and 25? Or are you using exclusively 25 for Volcus?
Just 25.
Just 25?
We've been fortunate. It seems like every year whatever new thing drops right after Nova.
Yeah.
Which is really great position to be. Like I love Nova. Like there's so many advantages of Nova being in the fall, where like late summer it is. Like the new packs, the new edition always drops after. So everyone's got almost a year's worth of experience with the edition, with the Crit Ops pack, with whatever it is. So there's a lot less rules questions and things like that. Everyone kind of knows how everything works. But also, the funny thing is, by the time we get there, so much of the field already has a golden ticket.
Yeah.
That in the last couple years, like it's like 7th or 6th place is getting the golden ticket. Like the golden ticket match is almost never the final match, because whoever's in the finals already has it. And so they're just dropping down.
Well, now that is not going to be the case this time, because you get the super special ticket for the grand this time, right?
Yeah, well, right. So this year, like all years, but especially this year is most important, the winner and over will get a flight paid for by GW, which, when that was to Atlanta, that was good, but not great. But now with everyone going to Barcelona, that's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, it's worth
so
much more.
Yeah, I'm really, really thankful again to GW for paying for that. But what'll happen is the top place winner, whoever comes in first, will get the flight, but still the ticket itself will drop down to whoever finishes the highest, who doesn't have it. So you could, like I said, I've had like 7th place players or 6th place players, going into a round and be like, hey, congratulations, you won the golden ticket to somebody. And they're like, wait, there's like 2 more rounds left. I'm like, yeah, they don't matter. Like, you could lose them both. Just the way everything's falling down. It's like, it's yours.
I mean, hey, I will say winning Nova is a very prestigious achievement in Kill Team now.
Because it's so late in the year, everyone has so much experience. It is like legitimately one of the most difficult competitions, especially in Kill Team, that you can do like all year.
We get every good player on the East Coast and even from the Midwest and the West Coast to come out. And I mean, if you look at the top 16 in every Nova the last 3 years, it's a who's who of already have won tickets or do very well, generally speaking, in Kill Team.
Absolute killers, to be sure.
Yeah, absolute killers.
Yeah, and that's always the crazy thing that I look at every year is like Pod 1 and Pod 2, the players in them could easily be interchangeable. Yeah. Like if you're looking at the skill of the players, like you're just looking at both of them are equally as difficult pods.
Yeah. And I had such a fun time last year in Pod 2. Holy shit, it's the best Kill Team I've ever played. It was so fun.
Yeah, watching George compete was a lot of fun. I did want to say, as I know you talked about the rules drama thing, there was one exception to that, if you remember, the emergency data slate that happened right before Nova of 2 years ago, I think it was. The Phil Gore and Chaos Cult hit that was insane.
I was really happy for that. Yeah. Because I was gonna have to make a hard decision that I didn't really want to make. But GW was kind enough to drop that. But no, I'm just talking about just the core rules. Yeah. Like we'll always get like an FAQ or something we'll drop, but the core rules, like the TAC Ops mission, like think about like the first tournament, even like at Worlds when they usually drop the new Crit Ops pack, like how much confusion and rules questions there are and FAQs that I get them all. Like so we're real good. So everything's real tight. Like most of my questions are line of sight. Like it's almost very rarely is there rules questions. It's like, does this person have line of sight and just break out my laser and
Well, I mean, one of the reasons that I think that like Nova is such an amazing tournament is, at least in the current timeline that we're living in, like I think about the last 2 years, we've kind of hit the point where like Nova is probably the first big, or if not the first big, like the biggest sort of like signpost tournament after the summer data slate. Like I would expect to get a data slate sometime around like the end of July this year. And so like there'll be like some tournaments before that, but that's going to be like, it'll be really interesting to see like what teams are going to do well at Nova, just because I think that the landscape of the game is going to change pretty drastically between now and then.
Yeah. It's been a really good season. I've liked watching the meta evolve in a very healthy way from, patch to patch and release to release. Like I think we're in a really good spot right now.
Absolutely. 100%. We are. Yeah. I'll just say it right now, not barring anything crazy in July, I think this is going to be the most like even keeled Nova we've ever had, probably regarding like team balance. So, which that'd be crazy because that means really anybody could win with any team. It feels like, which has not really happened for Nova before. There have been like a handful of teams that usually do well and it shows up in the top 16. especially since we had Summer of Melee and other crazy metas like that going into Nova.
Yeah.
But this year it really feels like I think anything can win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of anything can win, I do want to ask the question and get the elephant out of the room. Like, is this going to be a classified event or a declassified event?
Classified.
Yeah. GW event, right?
Well, no, actually, GW has given us full latitude on that. They've been really good. It's a personal bias.
As it should be, by the way. As it should be.
Yeah, that's the
All
point.
these people can fuck off. It's TO prerogative.
Here.
I think I think rules bloat is a problem we're facing, and even as a veteran player, like I don't know every team. When I sit down to play a team, I'm popping up my phone, looking at the data cards of the team, and all right, and then I got to ask them, okay, what are the, can you manipulate APL? Do you have Seek Light? I got to ask all those questions because
Gotta run
it's
through
just
the
too
script.
many. And then the other thing is, like, again, my personal bias is if you're winning a ticket to Worlds and Worlds is classified, you should win with a classified team.
100%.
But the narrative event is going to be declassified. You can bring anybody you want.
Team tournament will be classified as well.
Team is going to be classified as well. Yeah.
Right on.
On that point, we're getting Nemesis operatives in the narrative event that I just saw. I promised 2 people that I would play in their team, but I'm so sad I'm going to miss out that because of the Nemesis operative thing. Go ahead and tell us about that.
Yeah. So the narrative event has just been awesome too. People love it. So we do. We first off we run in conjunction with the 40K narrative, and it was something that I worked out with their TO, Chris, where like I kind of always felt like the kill teams like in the fluff are kind of working on the fringes, right? They're not like fighting titans and crazy stuff, but they're gonna impact the game one way or another. So we worked out a system where as you're playing these games of kill team, you're actually creating boons and bonuses for the 40K people on your same side of the factions that they have. It's like, oh, here you get a free basilisk hit, or you get a free reroll, or a +1 morale, or whatever. But just minor things that'll shift the battle, but nothing that's going to be game breaking. Because again, that's what the kill teams are doing. All the missions are asymmetrical, meaning we usually have an attacker and a defender. They can be lopsided, but also they can be kind of cool like that when you achieve the big victory. Lots of custom tables. That's probably, I'll be honest, the GT and the team tournament don't take a lot of effort as much as that does.
Dude, those custom tables are so cool. You've got the one that
love
spins. Ugh.
Yep.
I'm mad.
The tower.
I'm so mad. This is the one year where I could be like, yeah, I don't want to do the team tournament. I want to do a 2-day team tournament. I can do the narrative and the grand this year, except I can't because I'm poor. I can't go anywhere. I can't do anything.
Yeah.
So mad.
Yeah, I mean, we got great ones. There's the cathedral that we built last year.
Yep.
The Titan top one. But yeah, like it's just these. They're not balanced, but they're not unfun. Well, like that's the goal of them. The goal of the whole narrative event. We don't score it, other than throwing bonuses to your other team. There's no first, second, or place. It doesn't matter. So we can have a lot more fun with it because everyone's going into understanding this is a fun event. Like you're doing it to do cool battles on cool boards. Working on some new Necron stuff this year. But yeah, so then the Nemesis dropped, and we wanted to look at that, and we thought that'd be cool. So now, you can bring a Nemesis operative if you want or not.
That's so
and just
awesome.
follow all the builder rules for that. So if you want to bring a Sentinel, Dreadnought, whatever, or if you just want to play with your normal stock team, you can do whatever whatever you're comfortable with.
That's so cool. That's
That's really sick.
Shout out to the Kill Team design team for putting out a narrative product like that I think everyone has had pretty much overwhelmingly positive response to, which is awesome. The Red Terror too is just an awesome thing that you can just throw to a Kill Team game now. Despite his unkillability, but so I'm really excited to at least peer over there during the team tournament when I'm in between games.
Yeah, you'll have to, like I said, you'll have to hike back over to the big room. But it's not too far.
Worth it. Absolutely worth it.
Yeah.
So I guess my question while I'm thinking about that, because you say going back to the big room. So is this going to be off in like one of those more like conferencey type rooms kind of near the like where the vendors are, or is this going to be like in the other? Okay, cool.
And this is a big asterisk. Obviously, things might change, and everything changes for. But yeah, we're gonna have like our own like conferencey style room, on the same floor near the vendors halls for the GT and the team tournament.
Which a lot of people will be happy about, because I think people, despite y'all's best efforts, feel sometimes cramped on those tables. But
Cramped in the noise, and
Yeah.
you know, we were
And rolling
if
dice so
you,
they go off the railing and down the little. Shout at 40K players like, "Hey, can you get my dice, please?"
and if you noticed, like part of the problem we were having was as we were growing, we were getting more and more spread out and amorphic, which meant a lot more walking for me because I can't yell and have everyone hear me. So it was just like I got in a lot of steps for those tournaments, just from walking one end of the kill team all the way down and around to the other end, just to keep people, give people time and make sure they see me and they have questions and stuff. But so from a TO perspective, I'm going to like it a lot. It makes things a lot easier for me.
A much quieter room so you can hear people go, Judge,
right.
TO.
I mean, it'll be nice to not feel like I'm shouting for like 8 hours a day. I'm sure that I'm still going to have to, project a little bit, but at the same time, like I'm talking over 100 people instead of 1,000.
Right. I mean, yeah, it's an amazing room, that big ballroom, but yeah, I think this will be an overall net positive for the event.
Yeah, for sure. I'm looking forward to that. I mean, it's one of those things where I am excited to start prepping for Nova, because as I was looking at the calendar before this conversation, I mean, it's going to be here before we know it. Like, we're basically like 2 months out at this point.
Yep.
Insane.
Yep.
So we're going to have links to a lot of this stuff in the show notes. We're going to have links to buy tickets. We're going to have links to the packets. What are some other things that the people need to know about as we're, getting ready to throw down at Nova?
Yeah. I'll, one, prep as a normal tournament, but I will also tell people, check out what else Nova's offering. Like, that's one of the things I've always loved about Nova. Like, when I used to just go as an attendee, I'd go to 4 different game systems. And there's lots of night things, there's lots of classes. So, like, really look around at it. Yeah, I used to play, Kill Team or 40K, whatever, all day, and then I'd go play Blood Bowl at night. Just because I was
rad.
Young and full of energy then. But there's a lot of fun things to do. The Kill Team community is fantastic. Be ready to hang out all night with everybody, talking, and they have a great board game room. You can go up there, get some beers, and play board games all night. We were doing that last time.
The board game library there is epic, dude.
I
It's one of my favorite things
tell
every
you
year.
how many hours over the last few Novas I've wasted playing Red Dragon Inn. That game is so
Sick,
fun.
dude.
But prep as you do a normal tournament. Make sure you know your rules. Make sure you know them post whatever the latest FAQ is, and a rat, and balanced data slate. Don't use your cards unless you've updated them. Yeah, it's a blast. Like, it's a great time. There's vendors. They have food there and beer if you want to get a drink. It's a great time. Like, I just love it. And we are, I think, the last major tournament still in a hotel. I think all other major events have moved out of their hotels.
Yeah,
That's pretty
right,
wild. It's also,
unless I'm wrong, if you guys can think of one, but I think at this point
no,
they're
I think
all
LVO switched to a convention center, didn't they?
LBO's convention, Adepticon's convention, World obviously is convention. So, and that's something, as far as I know, the leadership wants to maintain. So like that will definitely cap our size at some point. It's not unlimited, because we're really packed into that hotel, but it is nice. I like that. I like just being able to, roll out of bed, grab something to eat, go down to your event. No
nice.
Ubers or hikes.
Yes.
To get you
Oh my God. So nice.
yeah. And then, after the festivities, once you're ready to go out and like get something to eat, you're like right there in the middle of DC. You just walk to any number of like great places to eat, go grab a drink somewhere. I think like that's one of my favorite things about it is it's just, it feels like such a community event because you're just around people all weekend.
Yep. Yeah. Our old spot where Nova was, we were kind of like a little south of DC. And it was a little remote, but yeah, this is great. Like, and that's what people do. And you'll go out and tons of restaurants, tons of bars, whatever you want to do, and you'll see attendees walking everywhere. You can't avoid them at all.
Yeah, yeah, and just a couple places like within walking distance, there's a very good like small diner within walking distance. There's a great Indian place. There's a Peruvian chicken place that was within walking distance. That was very good. There's a lot of really good
Great
food.
Thai place, and then down the corner you got the cheap drunk people food with like the pizza slices that are like this big. And
Yep.
That's
Chinese
what I'm
food
talking
places.
about.
So you grab something cheap. Yeah, it's fantastic. The location's great.
100%. So gotta let the people know, Nova, it is, I guess that's Labor Day weekend?
Yeah, it's always Labor Day weekend. So this year it's September 2nd. 2nd through the 6th, with our event starting like the 3rd. The 2nd is Wednesday. I think there's usually some seminars and stuff if you want to do some seminars before you come in early. Typically, I don't think they've announced it yet. There's usually GW preview Wednesday night. That's all the 2nd. Then the 3rd and the 4th will be the team tournament running parallel with the narrative. So you do have to pick one or the other. And then Saturday, Sunday will just be the GT.
And that's 7-round GT?
Yeah, still 7 rounds. It's a lot in 2 days, but
Absolutely. Well, I think it would be a shame if we brought you on here and didn't talk about Kill Team, because obviously you're a competitor as well. You were just talking about how you think the meta is in a fantastic spot right now. I'd love to hear a little bit about like what teams you've been playing lately and what's really been getting you going.
So of course I'm probably gonna get some shit for this, but I've been playing Chaos Cult, which I know is people are saying
Chaos
that's top of the meta.
Cult, yeah.
Let's go.
Of course, I would say
No, oh, brother, we at one point all 3 of us were gonna play Chaos Cult as like a joke. So we are cult enjoyers here. Don't you worry.
I'm not joking. I've been playing Chaos Cult unironically.
So I was playing Chaos Cult from first edition because I don't know if you guys played in first edition, but there was this a Chaos Space Marine team where you got Marines and you got cultists. And
my favorite. I loved it so much. I wish it would come back.
And you had the 20-man roster, right? We were back in the 20-man roster. Well, I figured out that I could have 19 cultists. One with the stubber, one with the flamer, and then one Chaos Space Marine with a plasma rifle. And that was my team. And I got to play with all 20 guys in every game. And I had no variation.
Yeah, dude.
That was the team. And it was just awesome. And I loved it. And then they re-released Cult for this edition. I'm like, sweet, Chaos Cult. And I had most of the models. And then I started playing. I'm like, yeah, I feel bad. I can't play these guys.
Chaos
the way
Cult
they
was
are
busted
anymore.
AF last edition.
I did. When they first came out, I did a 3-way battle with 2 of my friends. And it was literally 2 versus 1. And I clobbered them. It was just ridiculous. They needed a nerf more than anything else. Like it was like they desperately needed it. And so kind of I put them away, then they got to nerf and I brought them back out. And then in this edition, they came back and they were, really well balanced. Like I don't think they've suffered a lot of penalties and nerfs at all since their release. But yeah, I've been loving them. When in my 40K days, I always played Chaos. So I love Chaos teams. So I've been playing them a lot. The other team, and then, I have a Gore Monitors team that I was playing a lot, but, when the Elite meta was really strong, they were not. So I kind of stopped playing them because it just got, I'm just going to bounce off your team. This is not going to be super fun.
Yeah. I remember running into you at the Goonhammer Open last year, and that was like really at the height of the Elite. Like I was playing Elites. I never played Elites. And it was basically nothing but Elites and Warmongers at that tournament. I think Gellerpox and Brood Bros were like some of the only non-elite teams there.
Yeah.
But then, now we're seeing like stuff like Brood Bros and Chaos Cult popping up a lot more. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
Variety is the spice of life. And I think that everything is very well flavored right
Yeah,
now.
I got a bunch of teams. I also got Mandrakes. I've been dabbling a little bit with Canoptech and Vespids. And then on my bench, I'm trying to finish up my Heretic Astartes, even though I don't play them anymore. I just want them done. They're going to be Iron Warriors, and I printed some bits and stuff, so they look great. And then I also have a converted Nemesis Claw that I'm doing them as a Khorne because I'm always Khorne. Like I love my cultist is a Khorne team. I like to play a lot of different stuff. I try to look for something a little different each time I pick up a new team. But yeah, I used to be big into Harlequins, but kind of dropped them once they went to classified.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
really big into Harlequins until I played like 5 games. I was like, oh shit, no reroll sucks. This is brutal.
Well, I was playing them a lot last edition, and while I was doing really well with them. They were one of those teams that make you a worse player.
Yeah.
Because of the domino field, I didn't care about terrain and stuff, and because of the fly rule they had. And then I'd switch to like a regular team, and I'm like, wow, this is really hard.
This game's hard. What are people complaining? Oh shit.
Oh yeah, like I don't have to worry about Alpha Strike. I got a domino field. Oh, terrain, I don't care. I'm just gonna flip over it. So I would say I really enjoyed playing them, but I did find they were making me a worse player, at least the last edition. I played them a little this edition, but not much.
Yeah, they're much more balanced this edition, and like again, they've got like no reroll capability, and it's tough. It's tough for them.
You just gotta give them all blades, right? Because you still get a balance on those, right?
No, blades get 4/6 with no rules. I think.
Oh
Yeah.
wow, okay.
Yeah, they've been
Isn't
changed.
their whole like faction rule now basically just like a chance to get balanced?
Yeah,
Like if you're able to succeed
not a
with your
chance.
thing.
You just hand out balance like
yeah.
to.
that's
You
weird.
hand out balance to a dude, and if your special dude gets a kill in a special way, you can hand out balanced again. But it only affects shooting or melee, not both. Yeah, it's
Yeah, from my understanding, you just take the brutal one and you pair it off with Sigarak's chest and just make it super annoying for your opponent to like do anything melee oriented.
I mean, they were super annoying when I played against them last edition because that's when I was playing Vet Guard, and so like they had the kiss, and it's like their thing. They would just get severe all the time. So it's like, okay, well, I guess I'm just gonna take 7 wounds immediately and die.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Yeah, that was I made a lot of people sad with that. Like last edition when you'd run in and it was like, oh, I automatically got a crit. I just got a hit. You're dead. And they're like, wait, what?
Disgusting.
I'm like, yeah, you're just dead. I'm sorry. Like 7 wounds. Sorry.
Yeah, they've toned down a lot of that, thankfully.
We did. They were a nice balanced team, I think. And it'll be interesting to see if GW brings them back in some way. I would wager they probably will.
We are definitely due for an Eldari team. So
Yeah.
we'll see if that ends up being the long prophesized Exodites that I've heard since literally last edition.
Yeah.
But,
They're not riding dinosaurs. What's the point of Exodites?
could not agree more. Could not agree
Yeah,
more.
I also
if I don't
agree.
get a Velociraptor, don't give me this fucking team. I don't want it.
I like the thought of like the 5-body elf team riding dinosaurs. Like as somebody who's not really like an elf guy, that would really that would get me going. That sounds exciting.
oh God, I can't even imagine what that would look like.
A T-Rex and like 3 dudes on Velociraptors and like a little like pug. some dog
I mean, the
or
good
something.
news is you can run a Nemesis operative, and make him an Exodite with your
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
one of your other Eldar teams.
You can do whatever you want.
Well, Matt, I'm interested since you said that you have like a big roster of teams. It seems like you probably have a good, and I think one thing that we didn't bring up is you're really involved in the CPTS tournament series. So I think you end up seeing a lot of stuff. So I'm really curious, in your opinion, like what's a team that you think is kind of like down and out right now that you think really needs like some love?
Vespids are definitely near and dear to my heart. I think they could be a much better team if Tomb World didn't exist.
Yeah.
I would have liked to see them to get a little love. I think they could use. I would like to see a communion point being used once per turning point to give someone +1 APL. I think that would be monstrously huge for that team. But they are from my playing. They are a team that counts on being able to fly around and being able to get on vantage points to get that accurate. And you can't get either one of them in Tomb World. So competitively, like they're just really struggle on Tomb World. And I know like internationally, like I think in Europe, people were saying they play a lot more open. But here in the US, it's usually most TOs try to do a 50-50 split. I know that's what I try to do. So I don't know how you would fix them in that way. But I wish they had something that would give them that boost they needed Into the Dark, that it just crushes the team, I think.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that could end up being a solution for that, and this is all purely speculative, but I mean, there's been plenty of rumors going around how if you follow the logical train of thought where season one was like an open board Octarius replacement, and then season two is Gallo Dark 2.0 with Tomb World, like whatever we end up seeing, maybe even at the Nova preview show, is season three of Kill Team being like a very open 3D vertical map that's, a better version of Beta Decima or something like that, where it ends up changing just like the landscape of what kind of terrain we're seeing at tournaments. And just that board type could be the thing that really sets Vespids off, because it's just maybe they're not doing so good on these close quarters maps that we're going to see a lot of. But like if you run into them on that board type, you better cross your fingers or like have something really, really strong to deal with, because like that would be just like I can't even imagine playing against that team on Beta Decima.
Yeah,
probably pain.
But then that's the problem, right? Nobody played Beta Decima, and I think the I like the New England Beta Decima maps. I think they're a ton of fun. They definitely make you rethink how you play the game, but I think they're pretty darn balanced. I think the biggest problem you run into is TOs buying terrain. By the time you get to that third terrain pack, the TOs is looking at it like, well, I already got like 8 boards of Vulcus, 8 boards of Tomb World. Am I really going to invest in this new one? And I think that's obviously there were a lot of deficiencies in Beta Decima, but like I have my own terrain that I use for my local events. And even like, I'm just like, I don't know if I need a third terrain set. Like I spent a lot of money in the course of this edition getting a good amount of Tomb World and Vulcus. Like, am I really going to invest into a third one that even the player community is like, we're not too super crazy about that,
I mean, here's the thing. I'm totally good with a full Vulcus replacement at this point. I think one of the underlying issues that exists design space wise is Vulcus, frankly. This latest group of map packs has been like really, really good for teams that just can kind of ignore terrain. And as long as we keep making teams that do that, it's going to continue to be a problem with all this like heavy that's not necessarily easy to shoot and whatever.
Yeah.
And particularly, I mean, investments do take advantage of that. The problem is that just they hit on 4s. Right. So, that just negates their whole flight thing.
That's why you need the Vantage. Like for them, it's you get the Vantage for the, accurate 1, don't use a point for accurate 2, and you're balanced, and maybe you're lethal 5 up for the dev wounds, if you're close to the drone. That's the way you have to stack with them in order to get them to be on, good, which is like why they suffer so much on Tomb World. And the fact that like I can be high up on a piece of terrain and maybe you can't get to me, and then I can dart away real fast when you get close. Where you just don't have it on the close quarter stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think ultimately either the melee teams need to get toned down, or we just need to accept the reality that teams that hit on 4s for shooting teams is just not acceptable anymore. And I think that's a huge reason why a lot of these shooting teams have struggled. So, like, for example, Aquilons and Kazarkin now, at least, have consistently done very well because they actually can hit things. And even then, they still struggle because ultimately they can't do anything about a Goremonger or a goat getting into their back line. So, I think the whole shooting team design space needs to be reevaluated. And I think that's kind of started with Spectre Squad, because it seems like they were trying to address that issue a little bit, especially with the way that the interrupt works. Who knows if that trend follows into whatever the next edition looks like, or to balancing some of these other shooting teams. But like, I think like this has not been the edition to be a shooting team, unfortunately. But investments are such a cool, probably the best looking menus to be having Kill Team, and it's a shame.
Yeah, I actually want to circle back to what Mark was saying about a potential Beta Decima replacement terrain. What I would love to see is a board that has like rooftops printed on it, and like a terrain set where you can modular like ruined walls and crates and stuff. So it's still like a lot of cover, but you still have this thing where, maybe you get equipment where you can place bridges, and there's certain points on the board you can cross over from one building to another. So it still limits movement. It gives slight advantage to shooting teams because of the limited movement. except for the teams that can fly. But beta decima. I think that's probably the best version of a beta decima like terrain that we can get.
I mean, otherwise, I think it would just be interesting to see the way that like Seek Light and Seek could be changed to work with like different map types, right? Like, last edition Seek, or I guess it was indirect, right? Last edition indirect was such a powerful rule on Octarius because like you were never safe turn one if you were staging on the mid board because like if somebody had like a crack grenade, you run up, you're dead, right? And so, most teams don't have access to quite as strong ability there to kind of just deal with people who are hiding in plain sight as they used to. But it's the sort of thing, too, where it's like we can't just give grenades indirect anymore because everybody has access to them, right? Or maybe we can.
Here's my hot take. You give grenades indirect. You give grenades Seek Light back because they hit on 4s this edition, not 3 like last edition. So since they hit on 4s, it's not as oppressive to give them Seek Light again.
Well, wouldn't you need to give them Seek for them to really have any impact, particularly on Volcus?
I think Seek might be too strong, but I'm not opposed to it.
I mean, if they hit on 4s, I think it's fine because most teams only have a Grenadier, and it actually makes that model infinitely more threatening now.
Most teams don't have Grenadiers. But it does make Grenadiers much better.
I'm saying most teams only have like one, is what I'm saying. So like they only have one guy that hits better with the grenades. That might be a little brutal for, especially if the blast grenades, because like for example, the Plague Marines grenade would be pretty fucking brutal.
It's already really good.
I know, but giving that thing Seek to just poison potentially 3-4 guys would be wild.
Can Rekkas add their +1 blast to grenades?
Yes.
Sure can, and that would be a nightmare.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes, they can. And it gets severe.
I would love to see flamers with Seek.
Ooh, no, that's the take. That's the good take I like.
A lot of the more recent flamers have gotten a Seek Light Torrent 0-inch version.
Right.
Yeah, do that.
But you have to get within 4 inches to do that. That's the problem with those deluge profiles is that you have to be in like, if you're doing that, you might as well go and 2-inch them with a threatening gun. Like, I think a 6-inch like Seek flamer with some sort of like, maybe a variation on the damage. I don't know. I don't know what the game balance is there, but it would certainly make things interesting.
I think Torrent 0, I think is the way to do it, right? Like, you're going to flame the crap out of one guy. And let's be honest, like, flamers are still, would be scary to the lighter armies, but still the elites don't care about a flamer that much. It's like, all right, you hit me 4 times, I'm going to save 3 of them. And, I'll eat the 3 damage. I don't care. And they'll move on with their day. But like even the lighter armies, and then with the horde armies, you're not wiping out like half their team with one flamer.
Yeah.
You're just nuking one guy. I think that would be really nice for flamers, especially, because no one uses them. Like even the really cool ones, no one ever uses a flamer. Like there's just no point.
They tried. They tried by upping the damage and that didn't.
But they
do
reduced
anything.
the number of attacks.
Yeah.
So like,
I mean, to be fair, there are still some good flamers in the game, but like they are few and far between. Yeah. And like where I remember at Nova, I guess 2 years ago, and like learning about like the Rekka flamer that had the deluge, the Seek Light, I was like, this is awesome. But then it's like that's just not been a consistent thing.
Yeah, and I used to play Warp Coven, and their flamer is just amazing. I love that.
Oh, yeah,
still is.
Yeah, the piercing one crazy elf killer. Yeah. Oh my god.
Like that thing was, but like they're kind of gone. But I would say, 6-8-inch range, Seek Light, Torrent 0. I think would be a really nice place to put flamers back in.
I'll say it.
I would almost give them. I'd give them Seek everything.
I mean, that might be too much, but I wouldn't hate to play test it. I wouldn't hate for it to be in the game, and then if it is too strong, they can walk it back.
Right. It's a sort of like wacky thing where like even if it was only like something that was it was a thing for a data slate, like it'd be fun to try it.
Yeah, it's not like it would be around forever. If it's really bad, we just revert it back immediately. There's like stopping us from like doing an emergency thing if it ends up being really, really bad.
And with the grenades, you could also just say do a similar thing and just say if you want to do grenades, Seek, blast 0 can't be modified.
Yeah, there you go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It like that's the thing. I think that there's probably a lot of like logistical things like I think a lot of us are probably in the same boat where we would love to see Kill Team like balanced with the same sort of frequency that like an online like live service video game gets.
Yeah.
And I think that there's definitely like probably a few roadblocks to clear for that, but probably not too many. So
No,
it'd
and
be
that's
cool
the
to
thing.
like try some wacky stuff out.
That's the thing. Like I know power creep has been the big word the last 6 months, but like genuinely every slate has been a pretty good amount of balances, and them being cautious in the long term has been successful, I think, because now we're in a spot where things are like, okay, we really only need to touch like 1, 2, maybe like 3 or 4 things on teams, and maybe raise the tide up a little bit, and then we can kind of wait to see what other teams come out, and that puts us in a good spot. And why I particularly liked what they did with the Nemesis on that box that just came out recently is we only got 1 team, so they only had to worry about balancing 1 team instead of 2, and now we get this like 3, maybe 4 month gap where you don't have to add more to the equation, and we actually can let it breathe a little bit, really, and get more comprehensive data, especially with Nova and other tournaments right after Nova being whenever we get potentially new approved ops cards, etc.
Yeah, I think for balance wise, the last box was better that it was 1 team, but like, listen, that box sucked that it was 1 team. It was not good value. I don't want to see more boxes.
Value is not.
I don't want to see more
great.
boxes that are 1 team and like a bunch of garbage that only TOs are going to use. Yeah, I don't want to pay for that.
I mean, to be fair, the Red Terror was cool.
Yeah, he's a really cool 40k piece. We're not playing 40k.
That's not.
Tell to the 40k players. That's all.
Yeah, if you want
him.
your Spectre squad, go talk to your local Tyranid 40k player and see if he's selling you the Spectre squad.
Well,
I mean, as somebody who did that, shut up.
Yeah, that's my point. That sucks. That sucks shit.
I mean, it would be nice to get, because I know that boxes were coming out with like a bunch of like extra NPOs that nobody really needed.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice to get the value back to where we all want it, because I think that that's what drew a lot of people into Kill Team. Like myself specifically, I was like, this seems like a much more accessible entry point into the hobby, where it's like I only have to paint 1 team. I can kind of afford to play the game. And I mean, I don't think we've like priced people completely out yet, but I don't think that I think it's getting tough. It's getting tough.
Yeah, people described that box as like basically a board game in and of itself, which it kind of is. It wasn't really that Kill Team box as much as it was like buffs for Tyranids, plus like if you see it on the shelf, you can effectively play it like a normal board game while kind of tangentially learning Kill Team if you want to, which is nice, but just not for the value.
Yeah, but no one's gonna buy a single board game for like $200.
Right, exactly. That's my point.
Maybe Elon Musk.
Shout out.
Well, Matt, this has been a lot of fun chatting with you. Like, this has honestly just been like a really, really like just it's just been a lot of fun, man.
Thanks, me too.
Anything else on your mind as we're kind of like winding it down here? Anything else you want to plug? Like I said, you know, you're involved in like so many things and are such a staple in the community. Definitely want to give you the floor here.
Thanks. Mostly just, buy tickets for Nova. I will say, one of the negatives that we're still in the hotel is we are limited on space, and space is fungible. So if one place grows a little bit more than we are, we could lose space. So I will say, don't wait to buy your tickets. Buy them now. As soon as you're going to be able to go, I'd say don't wait. And, if we sell out, we could even grow bigger. If we outpace some of the other people. And that's what I was saying. Like, we're not 100% locked in where we are. Things can change. But yeah, I always say, buy your tickets sooner rather than later, just for that reason alone, almost, for at least from my perspective. Like I like when we were in the big room, the 40K would sell out and start eating into us. And it always kind of was a knife in my heart every time I got that email from the powers of bees, like, well, we're gonna have to take some more tables. It's like, no. So
well, I can tell you, I bought a ticket during this conversation.
Excellent.
So.
Advertising works, people.
Joe doing his part.
Yes, because I'm going to be that psycho that's probably playing in the team and the grand.
Well, whether it's for one tournament or both, whether you're playing 4 days of Kill Team or just going to have a good time, be sure to check out the Nova Open this year, Labor Day weekend, DC. It's going to be a blast. And Matt, thanks again for coming on, man.
Thank you so much for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Vox Screen. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, YouTube, or anywhere else you get your podcasts. Please follow, subscribe, and leave us a review. Any of those things are going to help us grow. Thanks for listening, and we'll be back soon with another episode.